Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert. We're back with the Ted Show, talking about one of my favorite topics, anything aviation and travel. So I am excited to have Elijah Stepp here with Bizavjets.com, and of course Annamarie Buonocore. I got to do it, but you got to say it right with InFlightUSA.com. Very excited to have you guys on the show. I love this topic. I think travel of any kind is on everyone's mind. People trying to maneuver through the new way of doing things. And so this topic can be any more current and good for us to dive into. But before we do that, let's do introductions and tell us a little bit about you. And Annamarie, we'll start with you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Ted. Hello, everyone. This is Annamarie Buonocore with In-Flight USA Magazines, now a partner in Bizavjets USA Magazine. In-Flight USA is a general aviation magazine that started in 1984. It's been in our family since 1984, and I started off as an editor after I had my own literary journal for about 3 years, and I took over the editorial department. And then just a few short years ago, I jumped into sales full time. And that really compelled me to get more into the industry, to go out and talk to people, learn more about what people were doing. And as I was on that journey, I met Eli, and that's when we decided that the industry was going more in a business aviation direction as opposed to general aviation. We'll discuss the differences later on. And that's how we partnered up and decided to start another marketing venture.
So you grew up, and I've only muted you a little bit, Eli, so don't think I'm ignoring you. You grew up in the industry. Did you always know you were going to stay in it, or did you have other dreams and things you wanted to do and it just drew you back?
No, the thing is, I did not think I would stay in it. I did not give it much thought. I went to air shows with my dad. We did a lot of aviation-related activities, though he didn't do much flying in my lifetime. But, we got around and we went and saw shows and different things like that. I was always a writer. I was always somebody who liked to write, edit, literary interests, poetry, things like that. And I didn't think in a million years that that would circle back into the family business, but it did, because so much of what we do here is writing and literary and all of that. So it did put me in the editorial seat and then later the sales seat, because being able to write is such a versatile skill and it could be used for pretty much anything. So no, I did not see myself staying in the industry, but that's where I ended up by way of my writing.
I love it. See, it came full circle for you, which is awesome. All right, Eli, tell us about you, my friend.
Okay, well, I've been in business aviation about 40 years now. I'm giving away my age, obviously. If I counted my military experience, it'd be more like 43 if we counted that as business. But I really didn't grow up in aviation or anything like that. But once I got bit by the aviation bug in the military, I stayed with it. I've been on the maintenance and operations side. I am not a pilot, which is usually I get, are you a pilot?
I would have asked.
Right. But I have a lot of respect for pilots or anything. But, I got into the industry and have been working a long time. And about 3 years ago, I decided that I wanted to promote business aviation in a positive light because they take some negative hits in the media sometimes. Basically, so I started promoting under the Bizavjets moniker about 3 years ago. And this year I decided to go ahead and make it a corporation in January. Now that was either the best or the worst time this year. We'll see how that works out. But I was Annamarie reached out to me, and I was fortunate to be in an article in Flight USA. And then after that, I shared a magazine cover that I had created about 3 years ago because I thought it would be cool to start another business aviation magazine. So I sent it to her and she responded positively. I was so excited. So that's how we are going in this direction. I still serve full time in the business aviation industry. So that keeps me in tune, gives me insight and things of that nature. So that's a bit about me in a nutshell.
I love the history there. It's always amazing to me how people get to their journey, where they're at. By the time they come on the show, they have lived 150 lives and done a whole bunch of different things. And I always love to hear this. All of us love to hear the story. Tell me a little bit about 2020 for you all. because I know that there has been such a shift. Obviously, the pandemic made us all pivot the way that we do things. The airline industry certainly got hit very hard. What did you all do when this all started to come to fruition and you're writing about aviation, you're promoting aviation, and all of a sudden aviation kind of goes away for a while? What was that like for you all?
I'll take that one. Yes, I feel that the airlines definitely suffered, as they often do in recessions of all kinds. But one advantage that we have in business aviation or general aviation is less people want to use a big airline where they're going to be seated next to a lot of people, everybody coughing, blowing their nose. They want to be in their own plane. So they'll either fly their own aircraft or a rented aircraft, or they'll charter an aircraft, or they'll be on a smaller business jet with just family or colleagues. I think a lot of businesses are going to use business aviation to transport their employees and contractors, things like that, so that they don't have to be on a big airplane with lots of people and lots of suitcases and lots of germs going around. So we feel that that's been good for our industry. I think more people are taking flying lessons. More people are getting involved in aviation in a positive way. And, you know, this could be a difficult time to be starting a magazine, somebody could argue, but we have such a, with Eli's social media background and digital background, I feel very confident that we're going to make this work and be very successful.
So I have to ask, did you feel the same way, Eli, when the shift started to happen? I mean, you started your venture at the beginning of the year, like you referenced. What was it like for you to do the pivoting?
Well, it was a little bit concerning, to be honest with you. You know, here we start this, go ahead and spend the money, start a corporation and everything like that. And then this comes along, it was a little bit discerning, but you know, it became to light, though, that more people are interested in business aviation flights. And, you know, to cover a couple of positive things, like the manufacturer of Kodiak aircraft, they shipped a bunch of ventilators at their cost. You know, Millionaire, they did a lot to a New York hospital, about 9,000 masks. And there's more than I could choose a lot to tell you about. So in the COVID era, some really good things started happening from business aviation, which a lot of them don't brag about it. They just keep it quiet. They do it. But, you know, and this is a history in business aviation. It helped in Hurricane Harvey, you know, and all kinds of, in San Juan and all those. So this is a continuation of what's going on. So what is going on, though, too, is people started becoming interested in business flights. In fact, Bizavjets just recently put together a group trip for a group in Las Vegas that wanted to be exposed to business aviation, not exposed to COVID, obviously.
I almost panicked there for a minute.
They wanted to have the business aviation experience. So I put that together, and it was much more economical than everybody thought. We did a trip one day out, out and back the same day. That way, because when you charter an airplane, you pay for both ways, even if you stay on the other end. But if you ride it back the same day, so everybody, it was a little bit more than a first-class airline on short notice, but they were very pleased. So that's what I'm running into, that it's picking up in that in that reference. So, you know, it's turning into a positive, basically.
I feel like the timing for what you all are doing is perfect, because I don't know if it was Annamarie or Eli, which one of you said it, but people are more cognizant of the fact, oh my God, they're going to bring back middle seats. Oh my God, the planes are going to be so packed. And I think that people really, really, really don't like that. The problem that a lot of people have is that they feel like they're not educated and they don't believe that they can afford that. It's way out of my league. Private jets are way out of my league. I had the pleasure of only once in my life flying private, and I swore at that moment I would sell my house to not ever fly commercial again. But of course I did. But I think that the option, the ability to do it and bring it together is coming more close to people's budgets than maybe it used to be.
Yeah, and in order to respond to that, there have been groups for years that would maybe get together once a year and fly private. There's hunters that do it with dogs. I've talked to charter operators, but now groups are thinking, hey, I'd like to try this once and go out, and they may not do it all the time, but they may do it once every 6 months. And then once they do it, they said, I want to do this again. And they save money for it. Now, the charter operators, they don't usually sell per seat. But if you go as a group and one person, pays for it and everything, and later you reimburse each other, that's your business. But the charter operator has to sell it to one person as an on-demand flight.
Well, I also think about, Annamarie, you probably know this. You think about then, okay, we're all going to start cramming into the airports again, and then we're all going to start going through the security lines where you can't be 6 feet apart, and then you sit down anyway next to somebody. It's not like when COVID was at its height, where you had that middle seat and everybody was distanced. The airlines can't afford to operate like that anymore. So guess what, guys? We're going back to the old way as far as air travel goes. And so I think that private or business aviation is such a positive alternative to, like you said, you could get a group of people together. Talk a little bit about what that looks like. I had somebody ask before we went live, do they require credit checks? Give us a little bit of the 101, because some people here, I think, are fascinated by business aviation, but they feel like they don't know enough about it and they're a little intimidated.
Well, it really is as easy as making a phone call. I mean, if you Google and say charter operator, you'll find some national ones that are big names, but you may find some local ones. And basically just call them and say, what's the process? And the process that I utilized when they did it is I went ahead, set up the flight, I put a credit card in, but the credit card is not charged until 72 hours before the flight. So but you go ahead and book the flight. Now there are rules. If you cancel at a certain time, you may be required for a payment and things of that nature. And you also do save money if you use a cashier's check instead of the credit card, because they're going to charge a little bit extra for whatever the credit card company is charging them. But with that freedom that they don't, charge your credit card until 72 hours before, if you have suddenly it's not going to happen, you can go ahead and cancel that. Yes. Now, I'm going to say that's with the charter operator I utilized. You might check when you call them, but it really is easy as a phone call, and you'll be surprised at how helpful they are. Just say, this is the first time I've done this. I'm the payor, and please help me, and they'll help you right along.
And how about from a writing perspective, Annamarie? Because publications themselves, magazines, whether digital or not, that is also a challenging industry. So you're taking on two industries that have had an interesting history and an interesting audience. What was it like for you to shift on the writing side for the magazine during the pandemic?
Well, the articles and the writing in this magazine are going to be more focused on business aviation issues like passenger experiences, humanitarian efforts that organizations are putting forward, how companies are using aviation to transport goods, services, and employees. As we're with our general aviation magazine, we focus on student pilots, warbirds, small airports, things that are more general aviation related. So yes, we did have to make some shifts on the editorial side. I had to educate myself a little bit more on these issues, talking to people like Eli and somebody else who works with us, Paul Glessner, and NBAA and things like that, doing our research, becoming members of NBAA, and really trying to figure out all the ropes. So yes, it is going to be a little bit different writing in this one, handling editorial, finding writers, but that's good because now we have two different audiences that we're going after. So
we have people who didn't slow down at all, right? You have people that didn't slow down at all. You have people who never, they got on a plane almost right away as soon as they could. So you have the people who none of this impacted them as far as their thought process goes. But you also have the people who are just trying to figure out how to go back in. I live in Orlando, so they're trying to figure out how to come down to Disney. They're trying to figure out how to get to where they want, but they are fearful of sitting next to someone and being on a giant plane. I mean, I don't know how many times I've gotten sick on a commercial flight just because the air is all recycled, and I don't feel good afterward. I don't care how many times I've flown. It's just one of those things. And so to have all of that going on when you have COVID in the back of your mind definitely is challenging for people. So what do you want to do with the magazine collaboration? What are some of the plans of what you all are going to do? Are we going to have events? Are you going to, what is the plan, the long-term plan for the magazine as we continue to maneuver through the new normal? I'll let either one of you take it.
I was going to say, I'm going to go ahead and go. You know, I will say for long term, obviously, we want to move forward, sharing the magazine and growing it. We do have plans, or at least I have, to talk to Annamarie about, you know, of giving back to others, especially like the Corporate Angel Network. I know a lot of people don't know it that are in business aviation. They've been flying, arranging free seats for cancer patients needing treatment for 35 years.
Wow.
They have flown more than 50,000 passengers. So we want to highlight, you know, those type of things, donate to those type of organizations, you know, as we move forward. You know, some of the things I want to mention that Annamarie already did is the humanitarian efforts. What's different about our magazine compared to the business aviation magazines that are out there already is, one, really impressing upon the humanitarian efforts, and two, having Annamarie and myself involved where I'm still in the trenches in business aviation and plan to be until they farm me out when I'm too old, you know, because I'm just beginning to enjoy it in some ways. I've made so many friends. I love going to the aviation shows, but that's the difference between Bizavjets USA and the rest is I'm in the trenches still. Annamarie is a second generation with many years experience in journalism and publishing, and I'm very fortunate to partner with them. In fact, they're doing all the production work at the magazine. I'm doing the social media part, you know, and so and we're I think it's a perfect marriage for it to happen now. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
It absolutely. So I have to ask you. We had a couple personal questions. Don't worry, I don't dive. I'm not Oprah. I don't dive that deep.
Okay.
But we had a couple people ask same question. So I'll ask you both. Favorite place you've traveled to, and a place that you haven't traveled to that you really, really want to go. Annamarie, it's always ladies first on the show.
Okay. Yes. Well, we've done some good traveling in our day. I am also a fiction writer on the side, and I write short stories. So my focus has been on Northwest Indiana, the suburbs of Chicago that are in Indiana. And that was just a really great experience for me, being able to go there and do some literary research and meet the locals there. It's one of my favorite places, and that was a really enjoyable travel experience for me.
And how about, where is there a place in the world that you've wanted to go that you haven't been?
Sure. Yeah, there's a lot of places I'd like to go. I think there's so much aviation business down in Florida. I would like to get down there and talk to people down there. So hopefully next year when things get better.
Fantastic. I just had you're well. And anytime you come to Florida, let me know. I just had a gentleman from Dubai on the show earlier. And as he was describing the travel to Dubai and what was there, I was like, okay, sign me up. Now I'm interested. Because I think people want to get the travel bug. They're feeling it. They're feeling sequestered and claustrophobic, and they want to get out and explore the world again in a way that's safe. How about you, Eli?
Well, whether it's either flying or cruising, I went when I cruised there. I have to mention two is Grand Turk and Aruba. I love it, love it, love it. And, you know, obviously we can fly there, hopefully on a personal flight one day. But the other, we'd like to go to Australia and Fiji. So I haven't been to either one of those. So
yes, I have not either. And there's so many places I haven't been. Yeah. I've been so many places, but then when I think about the places I haven't, I'm like, oh my God, I just want to travel all the time. Yeah. I have the bug again. My kids are all grown. And so my wife and I can travel if we want to. And then of course, COVID hit, and that was the end of that for a while. Sure. All right. What's the best way for them to reach each of you? Because this has been fascinating. I think we have a lot of people asking questions specifically about, can I reach out to them about specific flights and different things. So I want them to be able to reach out to you and ask any question that they have. And Annamarie, we'll start with you.
Sure. Yes, you can contact our headquarters office here in the Bay Area anytime. I'll just say the phone number, 650-358-9908. My email is annamarie@inflightUSA.com, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Fantastic. How about you, Eli?
Okay, right now it's Eli, E-L-I, at bizavjets.com. That's my email address. You can also go to bizavjets.com and contact me there.
You guys are a joy. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm fascinated by this. Yes, guys, they did not pay. They did not pay to come on the show. I don't have a flight waiting for me. But I had somebody ask that. I had somebody ask that. It's funny the questions that people ask.
We'll get you on a flight.
But you guys are amazing. I really wish you the best. You're welcome back anytime if you have. Especially anything charitable that you guys are focusing on or writing about, and you'd like to do a show and talk about how aviation played a big part in the humanitarian efforts, I'm all there. So please come back anytime. You guys are welcome. Thank you, Eli. Thank you, Annamarie. You guys have a beautiful day. You guys reach out. It's not out of your price range. So get educated, really get educated, and do the comparison. And I promise you're going to go, well, you know. And if you do it once, you will never want to fly commercial again. I can tell you that. All right, guys, you're a joy. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having
Everybody
us.
have a great day. We'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.